NASA recently organized KPMG Enrich 2023. Growing with Less Conclave brought together stakeholders to discuss and highlight innovative solutions to help build a sustainable and inclusive energy future. The conclave witnessed the support of Union Minister of Education and Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan. The Union Minister inaugurated the immersive KPMG Innovation Kaleidoscope that showcased cutting-edge technology and innovations addressing the energy challenge and featured metaverse experiences on energy transition.
Thank you, Honorable Minister Shri Dharmendra Pradhan ji and Dr. Vaishnav for joining us today. We have people from global KPMG over here, our KPMG leaders, and also the young leaders. You see lots of young faces from across the world over here. And, so Honorable Minister has been a kind of a guide for us. This year, when we were thinking of doing a little more with the startups, because it was clear that the startups themselves are going through an amazing journey, and it was just such a wonderful experience to have him. Honorable Minister has been really, really encouraging to a lot of the startups. A lot of things have happened when he was the Petroleum Minister. A lot of things are happening when he is the Minister for Education, Skills and Entrepreneurship. So today we are absolutely delighted to have him. Dr. Vaishnav also, I got his reference from Honorable Minister. He said that go and meet Dr. Vaishnav because some amazing things are happening under the Atal Innovation Mission for which he's the mission director. Absolutely delighted to have him. He's the Atal Tinkering Labs that have been set up in schools, 10,000 schools, if I'm right, across the country. He chairs that. He was also the chair of the startup track on the G20, which was the only new track in the G20 thing, which was done in India. So without further ado, let me first call upon Dr. Vaishnav to share his thoughts, and then we go over to Honorable Minister for the ministerial address.
Good evening, everybody. As all of you know, India's startup ecosystem is roaring at this point. The third largest startup ecosystem of the world. But there is a problem. There's a problem where I feel energy sector can show the way. So that's the first thing I want to talk to you about. As innovation scholars, we studied heavily how large firms get disrupted from the bottom, small startups, right, that grow. But there are two other outcomes, right? There is the other end of the outcome where large firms dispel startups. So startups never enter the scene as much. And then there's an in-between outcome, which is that the old and the new coexist. So you don't have to, you may, as a large firm, move to a new technological paradigm. But how does it happen in energy sector? I think that will really teach our startup ecosystem. So I urge you through KPMG to come teach us that thing. We really want to do it in sector after sector. We have to disrupt poverty itself. So we have a much bigger disruption at hand. So anyway, that's the first topic. The second topic, India's innovation ecosystem. Yes, it's the third largest, all that is fine. But some interesting trends, if I were to share with you. It was mentioned the Atal Tinkering Labs. We have built 10,000 tinkering labs in schools for 6th to 12th grade. These are maker spaces. These are places where somebody who would otherwise have been a mere consumer begins to think like a producer. That is what these labs are doing. We see some very interesting trends emerging. We have so far sensitized 7.5 million students with the idea of innovation, design thinking, entrepreneurship. And what we see is we have the capability to convene them on a very large scale. So for example, on the Earth Day, we decided to call upon these schools to come together to build a climate clock. 559 schools built giant climate clocks and created an Asian Book of World Record. So lots of people are willing to come, right? Previous November, we asked Zoom, can you give us 10,000 licenses for schools to log in? We said, 11 o'clock morning, you log in, we will build a solar-powered fan together. 5,700 schools with 150,000 students logged in. So we have capacity to mobilize the change makers, these young people, on a very large scale in the sphere of innovation. So that's something that will be important for our transitions. The third topic, which is Startup 20. So Startup 20 was the only, as was mentioned, new engagement group under the G20 hood this year. India proposed it. We took it from 0 to 1. The leaders' declaration incorporated it as a ongoing feature of the G20 architecture to represent the small and medium and startups. This really is a significant change to the policy landscape of startup, because until now, G20 had only one group that represented business, which was B20, the Business 20. Now there will be two groups. Startup 20 will represent SMEs and startups. We'll have to adopt global frameworks, such as the definitional framework which we published, governance frameworks. So startups, just because I am a startup, I can't hide and say I don't care about governance, because otherwise valuation will never be in line with value. So frameworks is one for F. Create access for startups internationally to finance, market, talent, and so on. The I is for inclusion, so build inclusive ecosystems that are inclusive of diverse groups. What diverse groups means is different to different countries, but we talk about that. S for sustainability, to find and scale startups that make us more sustainable globally. And N is to build a global network. Again, energy sector is a torch bearer. I really, really hope we can work together for us to learn from you. Thank you very much.
Namaskar, good evening. My dear friend Anish De, my dear friend Chintan Vaishnavji, distinguished gathering, young friends, I'm happy Anish has not forgotten me. This is the 14th edition of Enrich. KPMG is organizing continuously in Indian energy market this prestigious conclave. I'm happy to be part of this gathering for so many reasons. When we met before some time, when he explained me about this year's agenda on Enrich, few years back, he invited me to inaugurate the innovation corner, the innovation lounge. I asked him, I request him, why don't you? In the last few days, we are working together in the area of future of energy skills. Taking forward that, I request him, why don't you make it formal? Innovation, entrepreneurship, skill, education. Why don't you make it formal in the part of Enrich? I'm happy he has accepted my suggestion. And innovation, skills and entrepreneurship are now part of this prestigious Indian event. By next 25 years, India is determined to become a developed nation. The first requirement to be a developed nation is more energy consumption. The challenge is, it should be green. It should be clean. This is the twin challenge. Green and clean energy means more costs. More cost means affordability, accessibility, distribution. These new challenges are coming up. But today, I am confident, after being in charge of education sector in India since last few years, 2 years, I have visited a lot of incubation centers. I have seen lot of startups. But today, in education sector, I am learning a new thing every day. But today I can say, after visiting the startups display area in the other floor, I can confidently say India is at safe hands. The disruptive situation will not be for a long period. Our youngsters has capacity, imagination to work in deep tech area. And institution like organization like KPMG is mentoring them, hand-holding them. There will be, I have learned two things, revenue startups, revenue earning startups, non-revenue earning startups. Pre-revenue. The KPMG is very focused. You have to go to revenue. So pre-revenue, after that, today they are mentoring. They said, Anish, I am happy. This is a win-win situation for everybody. Let they grow, let they become a unicorn, let they become multinational company, and let they depend on KPMG. I don't have issue. Being a consumer, being a public policy in charge, I have two expectations. Friends, India's young population from age 3, National Education Policy is envisioned by Prime Minister Modi, is known as NEP 2020, is saying the formal education ecosystem will start in India now at the age of 3. If I calculate the average the student age, 3 to 23, the number in India is 500 million, double the size of Europe. They all will go through this disruptive period. The workforce in India today is around another 500 million. If I calculate from age group 15 to 59, this is the official working age group. This 15 to 59, the workforce in India is around 500 million. Friends, today, India is the number 5th economy in the entire world. By next few years, maybe next 2-3 years, India will be number 3 economy in the world economy scenario. But just imagine, by 2047, when we're talking about India is bound to be a developed nation. And energy will be the primary commodity. Energy is not an economic commodity. Energy is a political commodity. Energy is a social commodity. All my dear friends from all sectors are here. We have implemented Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. More than 100 million LPG connection were given to the bottom of the pyramid. What is the outcome? Outcome is more empowerment of the poor woman. Her health issue solved. She got more time to take care of his own self or family, for their own children. She earned more. So socio-economic empowerment starts from the energy distribution. Friends, energy is going to influence the entire ecosystem in a big way. And with energy, if you synergize innovation, entrepreneurship, and skill development. This Enrich, 14th edition of Enrich, I wish the best success of this conclave. And authority and experts are here. And young generation is also here. With much expectation, I am going back from this podium. We'll meet in the next year. By that time, some of the KPMG handhold startups should become unicorns. With this best wishes, thank you friends for inviting me.
The KPMG Enrich 2023 Innovation Summit also felicitated Enrich 2023 Startup Search winners. The winning startups are Nexus Power, Aperio Energy, Mini Minds, Minion Labs, Kalish, and Shri for showcasing creative solutions for a sustainable future.